What is gambling? Gambling is considered a game of chance. You need no special ability to gamble. There are many games out there that are considered games of chance, including the lottery, raffles, coin tossing games, slot machines. Why do people gamble? Well, some people need money. Some people are bored. Some people just want to have fun. But there are lasting effects to gambling. A lot of people end up broke. Some people end up homeless. Some people end up losing their families and friends. Let's take a look at Debbie's story.
My name is Debbie Edwards. I have a gambling addiction. I thought gambling was exciting and fun for me until I realized that gambling was no good for me. This is my story. When I was a little girl at the age of 5, one day I was in my classroom and my teacher was giving out envelopes for the March of Dimes. And all the kids used to go door to door to knock on the door and say, "Would you like to give to the March of Dimes?" But I kept doing it because I wanted extra money for me and my sister. One day, this guy came in and said, "Debbie, give me $2 because 777 is going to come out tonight." So I gave him $2. And when I got home, 777s came out that night. And after that, I began to start playing the lottery.
What is gambling? Gambling is betting. Gambling is wagering. Gambling is when you are taking a risk. When you are risking a sum of money or something of value, such as CDs, jewelry, video games, or other valuables. Gambling is considered to be a game of chance, an activity in which winning and losing are not influenced by physical or mental ability and depends solely upon the odds of the game itself.
I began to go to Atlantic City, and one day I had lost all my money. I used to lie to my family about my gambling addiction. I used to take my mortgage money and I used to spend all my mortgage money. I used to get in arguments with my husband, making excuses. Because I worked at 2 jobs, I thought I could hide the money that I spent. But it got to the point I was gambling up 2 paychecks. And I didn't feel bad until my son said, "Mom, you have a problem. You gambling." And I used to tell him that I don't have a problem. I'm going to be okay. And I did not realize I had a problem until I tried to stop. And I just couldn't stop. Every week I would say, "I'm going to stop this week." And when Friday come, I was sitting right at the slot machine. I almost lost my home. I got behind on my bills. And the truth had just came out. And I got tired. I was 2 steps from rock bottom. One day, I won $3,000. And I walked out of there with no money in my pocket. I used to see the ladies sit on the side, going through their purse, looking for change. I used to feel embarrassed for them until that lady became me. I was too embarrassed to tell my family what was happening to me. I didn't even want to think that I had a problem. I used to always say to myself, "I'm going to stop it." And as soon as I get off from work on Friday, for some reason, I went straight to the casino. That's when I realized I had addiction. I used to look at the people walking to the casino, and I knew which ones who lost all their money because of their faces. I used to have the same face. I used to wear the same face. And when I realized I had a problem, I couldn't stop it. I always look at myself being strong. I can beat anything in life. But fighting against yourself is the hardest fight that you ever have to deal with in life. I finally decided that gambling is not good for me. I needed to quit before it destroyed my entire life.
You've just watched Debbie's story. We've also talked to a group of students about gambling.
Hi, my name is Atavia Dean. I go to Amy 5 at James Martin. I'm 14 and I'm in the 8th grade. Gambling to me, I don't think it's good because basically gambling to me is like a whole game of chance. You win some and you lose some.
Like she said, a game of chance. And you might think that it's a higher rate of winning when it's really not.
To me, gambling is a bad addiction because once you're addicted to it, you're going to keep doing it. And when you gamble, you're wasting your money on things that you don't need. And there might be problems in the long run, like you might go broke and you might start a new habit, like doing drugs, and you might lose a lot of important people.
Gambling is not always about the money, it's about you winning or losing. And once you gamble, you'll get addicted to certain things, and there's a 20% chance that you could win or anything. Like I see people gamble around my block. They gamble in sports and they bet each other money. But they lose each other and they lose what they have. And they always be like, oh, let's get another chance and all that stuff. It's not always winning, it's always seeing what you could do and what you could do in your life.
Gambling to me is a very bad addiction, and I think it's even worse because most people don't even know this. They're gambling or don't know the signs of addiction to gambling, and they might start off little or bet little but don't realize over time that they're losing a lot of money in the process or whatever they're betting, and they might lose a little, but at the time of this, it's gonna build up and come back to you. And if you win, if you win a lot, you're gonna get very happy and excited and have a lot of like adrenaline rushing through you. But you have to ask yourself, how much did you lose in the process while winning that one time? And you need to think about what you're doing and make sure it's not affecting you, like it can't take over your life.
It's also on the street. They be like, down my neighborhood, they be gambling on the street, like rolling dice, and they be spending big dollars on just cards. And they don't know how much that they're losing and betting. And they lose like all their money, and then they be broke and stuff. People come home and then they don't have nothing to eat. You lose money.
It doesn't have to always be with lottery tickets or in a casino or online or wherever. You can bet small and it's gonna affect you. Like it almost always will affect you later. Even if you're not spending a lot, it's gonna build up, and you can go in debt or you can be in trouble with others for owing them money.
And the reason why it's a lower rate because the gambling and the casinos, they have more than one deck, so like it's more harder to win and stuff.
And there's also online gambling, and people might think that it's the same thing that you do in casinos, but it might be different because when you go to a casino, it's not for your benefit, but it's for them because you have a lower chance of winning, and that's how people get into debt and lose their money and lose people that they care for because they're starting bad habits and drinking and doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
People in casinos and other gambling places where you can gamble use propaganda and advertisements to draw your attention to gambling, and they show a picture of all this money and people winning, and it's just, they don't say that maybe in a game of blackjack you might win once and then you'll get all happy because you won all this money, or maybe a little bit of money, and you keep playing and you're gonna keep losing and losing, and winning once isn't worth losing maybe 20 times. They create games like Candy Crush, and they make it seem like you're winning and doing really good, and it makes you think like, oh, maybe I can go to a real casino and I'll win that much.
Why is it so easy to get addicted to gambling?
Because you don't see it coming. It's different from drugs and alcohol. Gambling, to a lot of people, is fun. It's like playing a video game, but the difference, money coming out. And once you win, you just want to keep winning.
When you first started gambling, did you ever think you would get addicted?
No, I had no idea. I was just having a good time, and every time I went into the casino, I always was winning money, so I felt lucky.
How did your family feel about your gambling addiction?
They hated it.
Did you ever have to borrow money from your family?
All the time I borrowed money from my family members, but every time I got $1, I would go gamble the money out, trying to win more.
And when did you first start gambling?
I started gambling when I was 5 years old. I used to live on a farm, and every morning I used to get up and put a small basket inside my red wagon. I used to run off to the cucumber patch. I used to see all my families picking cucumbers. My uncle taught me that the small basket was worth 50 cents and the tall basket worth 75 cents. So at 5 years old, I wanted to make 50 cents. So I used to walk up and down the cucumber patch and take one cucumber out of each person's basket until mine filled up. And then when my uncle go and take all the baskets, I'll jump into his truck so I can get my money, and we'll go into the store and I'll buy one soda pop and one sugar cookie.
Yes.
What made you stop gambling?
Because I was hurting my family members, I was hurting myself, and I was spending up all my money, my bill money, and I just couldn't stop on my own. I felt like I was 2 steps from rock bottom.
Do you think you'll have the impulse to stop gambling if you gamble today? Will you have the impulse to gamble tomorrow or the next day, the week after that?
I will never ever gamble again a day in my life. Every day when you look outside, it's gambling. There's more casinos around, more scratch-off tickets. You see the lottery on the TV. And I used to play the lottery, scratch-off tickets, and I would never do it again. Losing money every day, it's not a good thing. And it's hard to break that addiction. Like you said, it's not like taking drugs or drinking. It's something that you think you're having fun, but you're not having fun because you're constantly losing.
A game of chance is when you are gambling, betting, or wagering. When you are risking a sum of money or an object of value with the possibility of losing it or of winning more. Let's take a look at some games of chance. Coin toss and dice, dominoes, the lottery, card games like poker and blackjack, bingo and raffles, sports betting, whether you play the sport or not, and internet gambling. Let's talk about the lottery for a moment. Parents, grandparents, relatives are letting kids pick numbers for lottery games, such as Powerball and Mega Million. Some adults are buying scratch-off lottery tickets for their kids to redeem. There are businesses that are allowing minors to buy and redeem lottery tickets without checking IDs. Furthermore, lottery vending machines are widely distributed and made available for use without adult supervision or inspections. Fantasy football has gotten more popular with teenagers, with commercials advertising prizes and making it look fun to our youth. Internet gambling is more popular and accessible by young people. Even though online gambling is currently not approved in the state of Pennsylvania, the gaming industry is already posting ads about them. Youth have easier access to online games and are given options to buy amenities for various games such as extra lives, moves for Candy Crush, extra chips for poker sites, etc. Also, certain states are approving online gambling, making it more convenient for gamblers to sign on from the comfort of their home. Internet access as a whole opens up a gateway of suspicious activities for youth and predators. Let's look at games of personal skills, such as basketball, golf, or chess, in which winning and losing depends almost entirely upon the player's physical or mental ability. An alarming trend for games such as Monopoly, Uno, checkers, and chess that are traditionally played for fun are now being played for real money. Nowadays, our youth are gambling or making bets on just about anything. So, why do people gamble? People gamble when they are sad, bored, stressed, or under pressure, happy or unhappy, when they want to prove a point to someone. The number one reason why people gamble is for money.
Like, do something constructive instead of being on, like, electronics all day, because most gambling comes from electronics. And maybe if you just put it down for at least 30 minutes a day, it'll, like, change your entire life.
Kids, remember the choices that you make today will determine what you become tomorrow. A teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, even a president, but you don't want to become a gambler.
Don't gamble.
Move on!
So the question is, how can you avoid gambling addiction? The choice is definitely yours. Think about your life. Think about the decisions you make. Think about how gambling can impact your life and rob you from a lot of things that you desire to have. The choice is definitely yours. Please make the right decision.
Now let me tell you people about this blackjack game. It's caused me nothing but trouble, and I've only myself to blame. Hey, hey.